Welcome back, everybody. Today is going to be a review of some Algebra 1 topics as we talk about solving equations. So we're going to do three types of equations today. We're going to do one-step equations and two-step equations. And on the next video, we are going to talk about how to solve equations when there are fractions in them. Okay, so all of this should be review. So now would be a great time to pause the video and work out these answers and then hit play to see if you get them right. Okay, so our goal in solving equations is to figure out what number could we put in for x that when I subtract 5 will give me negative 13. Okay, that's what we're trying to figure out. What number is supposed to go there? And a lot of times in one-step equations, you can just look and you can know. Okay, but what if you look and you can't know? Okay, what if adding and subtracting is hard for you or you don't know your multiplication tables very well? Then we're going to use opposite operations to get rid of our x's. So when we're trying to solve for x, we always start on the same side of the equal sign. So some of you might have had teachers that drew a line there to help remind you that whatever you do on one side of the equal side, you have to do it on the other. Okay, and we want to get rid of whatever is with x. So what we see right here is a negative 5. Okay, and the opposite of subtracting 5 is adding 5. And that helps those to disappear because negative 5 plus 5 is 0. And that leaves us with our x. Awesome. And then what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So when we add negative 13 plus 5, that should give us a negative 8. Now, the nice thing about equations is you can always check your work to make sure that you got the right answer. So if I put a negative 8 in for x and I subtract 5, does it give me negative 13? And in fact, it does, and that's how we know that we're right. Okay, so the answer to that first guy is negative 8. Okay, second guy, we look for that x, and we see that it's being multiplied by negative 4. So we want to get rid of that negative 4, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing by 4, negative 4. So negative 4 divided by negative 4 gives me a positive 1, which just leaves me with an x. Awesome. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So 28 divided by negative 4 gives us negative 7. And again, we can always check our work by putting it in. Negative 4 times negative 7 needs to equal a positive 28. That's what we're trying to figure out. So when we put that in our calculator, it is in fact a positive 28. And so we know that we got it right. So the answer to the second guy is x equals negative 7. So those are examples of one-step equations where you just have to do one thing to get x by itself. So let's do a couple of examples of two-step equations, okay? This time we have to do two things to get x by itself, okay? So I always have my students box their x so they know what their goal is. And we start from the furthest thing away from our x, which is this 5 right here. So if I want to move 5 to the other side, I have to subtract it because it's positive. So I subtract it from both sides of my equal sign. That gives me negative 3x equals, and then 14 minus 5 is 9. And then we divide both sides by negative 3 because it's negative 3 times x. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1, which just leaves us with our x, and 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. Okay, the same thing is true. You can check your work. So 5 minus 3, and then we put in our negative 3 where that x was. We're trying to figure out, does that really equal 14? Okay, and so when we do order of operations, you could put it into your calculator just like this. But if we're doing order of operations, we multiply first. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And 5 plus 9 is, in fact, 14. So we know we got the right answer. You don't have to check it every time. I'm just emphasizing that you always can to make sure that you did it right. All right, so now we go over here. We need to get x by itself. Okay, the 3 is attached to it with division, so we need to move further away from the x. So we need to start with our 6 right here. So to get rid of that 6, to move it over, we subtract it because it's positive. And 8 minus 6 is 2. And 2 equals x divided by 3. Now, the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So we're going to do that to both sides. Okay, a 3 on top and a 3 on bottom divide to give us a 1, and we're just left with x. And then 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, let's put that one back in just for practice. So we get 8 equals 6 plus 6 divided by 3. So does 8 really equal 6 plus, and we know 6 divided by 3 is 2. And you know what? It does, because 6 plus 2 is 8. So we know we did it right, and our answer is x equals 6.